Okay, now I'm going to show you the second way for us to put on the water slide. Now, okay, we previously did our image for the pacifier. Okay, now I actually want this image to be bigger than this. So we did 0.75. I'm actually gonna go ahead and make it a 1 inch. So I'm gonna go up to the top and change the height, the H, which represent the height, and just put 1. Okay, I'm not gonna mess with the width. I'm not going to unlock it. I'm going to keep that the same so it'll already get the size I want. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Okay, so we're going to keep it that. Now, what we're going to do that we didn't do in the other video is we're going to flip it. And we're going to go up to the top and hit flip horizontal. You got flip horizontal and flip vertical. We're going to hit flip horizontal. And that's going to flip the image. Okay, so you want, and now if the image that you choose doesn't have words, you necessarily do not have to flip it. But if the image do have words, like this little pacifier, it got the girl boss, then make sure you flip it, okay, for the way that we're about to put on that I'm about to show you how to do the water slide, okay? So, with that being said, we'll be back. Okay, we are going to transform this pacifier, okay? Now, you see how this particular pacifier have a butterfly image. We're going to remove that image, and I'm going to show you how. But before I get into that, I want to show you the tools that we're going to be using. Right here is a piece of foam. This foam comes from one of them swimming noodles, them long foam swimming noodles that the kids use. And I simply just cut it up, that you get from Dollar Tree. Cut it up in little pieces like that, and it's perfect to sit the pacifier in just like that. Boom. Okay, so we are going to be working with nail polish remover. Yes, I said it, nail polish remover, but not any nail polish remover. It has to be 100% pure acetone. This is what we're going to be working with today. Okay, and then also our cotton balls to remove the image. And then I'm going to talk about the tools that we're going to use when we place the image onto the pacifier. So first, let's do it step by step and remove the image off the pacifier. So we went over the stuff that we need to remove the image, so let's get to it. So I'm just going to take a cotton ball and put a little bit of acetone onto my cotton ball. I don't want too much because I don't want the acetone to run all over my pacifier. I just want to get enough to remove that image. Now, depending on the pacifier, it all depends. All pacifiers are different. You're going to have to put a little bit of elbow grease into it. It all depends. Sometimes they come off easy, sometimes not. So I'm just going to simply wipe off the image. See, this one comes, I'm lucky. This one is a newbie pacifier, and that image coming off real good. Super easy. Look at that. I barely had to even wipe it. And I barely put any. Now, I'm going to add... So it's off, but I'm going to add a little tiny bit more acetone to this cotton ball and just make sure it's super clean. Actually, I'm gonna get a new cotton ball, and I don't want no residue at all. I want it completely white and clean. Okay, so just a little bit to a fresh cotton ball, and we're gonna wipe over that. Make sure you get all the little edges. Wipe it off real good. And when I'm holding my pacifier, I want to make sure I hold it like this, not down like this, because I don't want any acetone to run down onto the nipple, okay? So I hold it at just like this, okay? So we're going to clean that, and that looks perfect to me. I'm just going to check over it, make sure it's nice and clean, which it is, and we're good. So now we are going to get ready to put on our image. So we're going to clean up, and we'll be back. Okay, now we're back. We're back with our pacifier, with the image already cleaned off. All right, and the tools we're going to be using to put the new image on is we got our image right here, all ready to go. Now I'm going to talk about the image a little bit. Now, remember on the computer, I told you get back on the computer and flip the image. This is what we're looking like. If you can see, if you notice, the words on here are backwards because I'm going to show you a different way to place the image onto the pacifier. This is the second way. Now you see how it's backwards? That's what we want. Okay? Now, we also have our bowl of water. Now, this bowl has been sitting out. I prefer to use warm water, but this one has been sitting, so the water's kind of cold. We're going to use our Crystallite. This is our bright tone. This is what we're going to use to coat the image once it's placed on it to give it that professional look. We're also going to have our scissors in case I need to trim up the image. And then we have our tweezers to help us place the image onto the pacifier. Then we also have our squeegee tool right here from Dollar Tree with the little plastic tip. This helps us smooth out the image as we place it onto the pacifier. We also have this little pokey tool thing. I don't know what it's called, but the little pokey tool. It comes 2 in a set from Dollar Tree. And this is if we get any air bubbles, just poke a hole in the air bubble and we can easily just smooth it out. And you will not see the little hole. So this is what we're going to be working with. All right, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and place my image. Like, again, this water is kind of, it's not warm as I would like, but we're going to make it do so. I'm going to show you. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and place our image inside in the water. Now, remember, when you do, we already went over to coat this image. After you printed this image out, you cannot just go ahead and use this image. You have to put a clear coat over this image because you don't want that ink to run. So we already went over that. So I just wanted to go ahead and, you know, say it again for you guys. So we're going to let this soak for a minute. I'm going to let it soak a little bit longer since the water is kind of cold. Now, I do not want to put water on here. I want the pacifier to be kind of dry when I place the image on it because I don't want it to slip all over the place. I want to kind of stay in place. Okay, if that kind of makes sense. Okay, well, now I'm about to take the image out. We're going to check it and see if it's ready to place onto the pacifier. Let's see if it's, you got to see and kind of move the image onto the, yep, it's ready because it's sliding. You see how it slide like that? Now, this time, I'm going to place the image upside down on the pacifier. We're going to work it like that this time, all right? So we're going to place the image upside down. Hold it with your finger. And slide the paper right off. Boom. There it is. Ain't that cute? Now we're going to work the image on the pacifier. And smooth it out to how we, and he's going to give it that little professional look. Now, I'm going to do it off the camera so I can see. I ain't got my glasses on, so I can't really see what I'm doing. And we're just going to work it on with the finger. You use the tools if you need to, but I'm going to try to use my finger first. Once I get this the way I like it, then I'm going to show it to you. You know, this is kind of thick, so it has a lot of product on there. So it's might take me a minute. Matter of fact, I'm going to take my gloves off. Since I'm done working with that acetone, I don't need these gloves, so it'll be easy for me to work with. You want to make sure you don't want no air bubbles. I keep my finger wet, okay, to help me smooth it out. I'll just dip my finger in the water and smooth it out the way I like. No air bubbles. You don't want no air bubbles. Take your time. Smooth it out. No wrinkles. Take your time. Smooth it out. You want it to have that professional look. You want it to look like you bought it out of the store. So please take your time. That's why I keep repeating myself. You do not want to rush. Remember, we want to get that wow factor. When people see what you do, you want them to say, wow, this is how you get it done. I know you're like, dang, she taking a long time just to put that image on that little pacifier. You right. You surely right. I make sure I ain't getting no air bubbles, no wrinkles, no nothing. I take my time. Then you want to take your paper towel and kind of dap it off to kind of soak up some of that water. And it also helps the image to stick onto the pacifier. Now look at that. Woo! That's cute, ain't it? And there it is. Bow! That's what it looks like. Let's get a close-up. You see that? That's what we want. I think I spotted a little wrinkle. I got it. I'm about to pat it out right now. Okay, let's do another close-up. Because I saw a little wrinkle I had to smooth out real quick. But we looking good right now. This is our finished. And then we're going to let this dry. Please don't go in with the bright time right now. Let's let this sit and dry. So the little noodle that I showed you, the blue noodle, I'm going to place this inside the noodle like this. The little styrofoam. I'll place it in there and let it dry for a minute. And then we'll be back. Okay, we're back with our baby pacifier. It has been sitting. It is dry. Remember, we just placed the image onto the pacifier. We smoothed it out, making sure there's no air bubbles, there's no wrinkles. And we dapped it off with the paper towel, getting the extra water off. And now we are ready to put on our top coat. We are going to be using Crystalac, which is bright tone. And I put it in this little ketchup and mustard, little squirt bottle container thing that I picked up from some, dollar store. And we're just going to place a little drop. This is toxic free. This is really, really thin consistency. Is totally thinner than epoxy. So all we want is a little drop. You don't want to get carried away because you don't want it to run on the nipple. Just put a teeny tiny drop. And I don't have to wear gloves. Again, this is toxic free, and I'm just going to take my finger and rub it on the image. It's not going to feel smooth right now because this is our first layer. Just like that. Make sure you get the edges. And that is what it looks like. Real thin, and that's fine, that's what we want. And we'll be back with the second coat. We're going to let this sit for 3 hours, and we'll be back. Okay, now we're back. We're about to go ahead and put the second coat of the bright tone onto our pacifier, so let's get it. Remember, all we need is just a dot. Very, very simple. All we're doing is adding a dot. And then we're just going to take our finger and rub the product onto the pacifier. And that's it. And we'll be back in another 3 hours to put the third coat. I'll probably wind up, yeah. I think we're going to rock with about 5 to 6 coats. We'll see. But there it is, our second coat. And that's it. We'll come back in 3 hours. Okay. Now I just wanted to show you what the completed pacifier looks like. That's a total of 4 coats of bright tones. And when I say coats, I mean one little itty bitty drop, a droplet of bright tone. And just spread it out because you don't want it to drip all over the pacifier. And this is the finished product. Okay, you guys. We are finished. We are finished with our girl boss pacifier. Isn't she adorable? Yes, yes, yes. Now, we'd also like to mention before you place the baby pacifier in the package, please make sure you clean off the baby pacifier with rubbing alcohol. All you need is a little bit of rubbing alcohol and just wipe it down. Okay? There you have it.